You're a busy full-time working adult working a 9 to 5, or even a full-time student that has finals, assignments, group projects that you always have to deal with, but you still want to go to the gym, build the muscle so that you can achieve your dream physique that you always wanted to build, so that you can feel confident, feel good about yourself, all these kinds of benefits. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to follow these 5 to 6 day splits that are 2 hours long. All you need is actually 3 to 4 hours per week. This is the split that you can follow that I feel has always worked for me when I was a full-time student, and also now as a full-time software engineer working in 9 to 5. And this is actually called the upper lower split. It's actually a 4-day split. How it goes is that on day 1 it's a chest focused upper body day, day 2 quad focused lower body day, day 3 back focused upper body day, and day 4 is hamstring focused lower body day. You can actually run this split according to whatever schedule is more appropriate for you, but this is how I'll run it. I'll run it on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. A few modifications that I've made, because there are some criticisms on the upper lower split based on how long the upper body days are. I've actually moved the shoulders and arms day to the lower body days. This ensures that the upper body days are not too long and the duration is also just more balanced. Shoulders and arms can be hit when they're more fresh and not fatigued by chest or back movements. Shoulders and arms are also less fatiguing in general, so you can still do it at the end of lower body days. And it's also more mentally relieving knowing that you're still hitting these bro muscles on your lower body days. The overall structure allows you to hit the ideal 2 times a week frequency for each muscle group. Muscles generally take about 24 to 48 hours to recover, so you want to hit them again when they're fresh to go to maximize the hypertrophic response. Having 6 sets of one muscle group in 2 separate sessions generally allows you to be more productive because you are more fresh and you're not fatigued at the tail end of the workout as compared to doing 12 sets in one session. I also program it to have a max of 2 to 3 sets per exercise. It allows you to save time and also push each set to a high intensity closer to failure, which is really optimal for muscle growth. You can also do it in a 3-day split fashion if you lack the time. It's just that each cycle will be a 9-day cycle instead of a usual 7 days, 1 week cycle. If you're even strapped for time, you can still run it in a 2-day split fashion over here, just that each cycle will be 2 weeks long. However, I recommend that you do it in minimally of 3 days, and ideally the original 4-day split. Here's how the workout goes. The first day is upper body chest focus day, starting off with incline dumbbell press to focus more on the upper chest to give us that broad look. For all these chest exercises that I'm doing, I'll be doing 3 sets. I usually do 4 to 9 reps for main compound movements and 6 to 12 reps for isolation movements. For each set, I also push to about 1 to 2 reps in reserve or sometimes even 0 to ensure that I have the maximum mechanical tension that is required for hypertrophy and muscle growth. Next, we're doing this plate-loaded chest press to focus more on the middle portion of the chest. We are using machines here since it's more stable, allowing us to push closer to failure with more control. Next, we're moving on to a chest isolation movement with the pec deck fly. You can also use cables if you wish. This will help us take the shoulders and triceps out of the equation, which are typically used for the main compound movements. Moving on to the back portion of the workout, I'll be doing 2 sets each, and here I'm doing the chest supported dumbbell row, flaring my elbows out to hit the upper back more, chest support so that I do not cheat. Then we're moving on to some pull-ups, really doing them slow and controlled over here, targeting the lats. Moving on to some shoulder isolation, we have cable Y raises to help target the side delts. This gives you that wide and broad look. Set the cable to about wrist height. Finally, finishing off with some cable crunches. Try and keep your hips in the same position and try and get your elbows to touch your knees so that you can really target your abs over here. Here are the exercises for the upper body chest focused day. The second day is a lower body quad focused day, starting off with some hamstring curls to warm up the knees and also because you're still fresh so you can hit the isolation movements hard. For all the leg exercises over here, I'll be doing 3 sets each. We're doing our first quad movement, which is elevated Smith machine squats. I'm doing them elevated so that my knees can travel forward more so that I can target the quads better. And I'm also using the Smith because it's more stable as compared to regular barbell squats, so I can really push close to failure without thinking too much about my form. Next, we're moving on to this single leg press. You want to set up your feet as low as possible so that you can have more forward knee travel, and also have the seat as close to the weight so that you can get a deeper and fuller range of motion. Finally, we're finishing the leg workout with some calves on the leg press. Try and get a deep stretch on each rep and also a slight pause at the top. Moving on to the shoulders and arm portion, we're doing the overhead tricep extension, 3 sets. Try and focus on keeping your elbows in the same place over here. For biceps, we will be doing the dumbbell preacher curl, 2 sets over here. Focus on getting a full range of motion and reaching all the way to the bottom. Finally, we're doing a dumbbell shoulder press to target more of the front delts. We're just doing 2 sets over here because the previous day on our chest pushing movements were already involving the front delts a lot. The side and rear delts are also more important in shoulder development in general. Here are the exercises for the lower body quad focus day. The third day is the upper body back focus day. For all the back movements, we will be doing 3 sets each. We start off first with the lat pull down to target the lats. Then we're moving on to these one arm plate loaded pull downs over here, which targets more of the lower lats since it's hitting it at a different angle. And finally, we have another chest supported row variation using the Smith, trying to target more of the upper back over here. Moving on to some chest supported dumbbell lateral raises, we're doing 3 sets over here. The chest support ensures that we cheat less so that we can fully engage our side delts instead of our traps. Moving on to the chest portion of the workout, we're doing some pause bench press just to hit the overall chest, and we're just doing 2 sets for all the chest exercises over here. I like to pause so that it keeps the reps consistent. We move on to the incline Smith bench, a very stable variation that allows us to target the upper chest. Finishing off with some hanging leg raises to target more of the lower abs as compared to the cable crunches, which were targeting more of the upper abs. You can also do them with your knees tucked to make it a little bit easier. And here are the exercises for the upper body back focus day. And the last day is the lower body hamstring focus day. Starting off with some stiff leg deadlifts. For all the leg movements, I'll be doing 3 sets. I find that stiff leg deadlifts allow me to target the hamstrings much better as compared to just regular deadlifts. Moving on to some dumbbell Bulgarian split squats to hit the glutes and the quads. I like to do them with a plate below so that I can have a deeper range of motion. I also rest in between each side. I don't go from left to right straight away. Then we move on to the leg extension for our quad isolation here. Next, we're doing some incline dumbbell curls, 3 sets here. Try and really lean back on the bench and get a full stretch on the bicep at the bottom of the range of motion. Then we have the straight bar push downs for the triceps. I find the straight bar to be more stable than the rope. Then we have the single arm reverse cable fly for the rear delts. We're just doing 2 sets here. Really try and reach your arm out so that you can hit your rear delts. Finally, we're finishing off with some seated calf raises. Focus on getting a deep stretch at the bottom and a slight pause at the top. Here are the exercises for the lower body hamstring focus day. A link to the whole workout program, you can check it out in the description below. It contains an Excel sheet where you can actually track your lifts for each of the exercises, and I find that this will be super helpful for you, and it's completely free. You want to be tracking each of your lifts for every session. This ensures that in the next week, you know what are the weights that you have to match or even go higher, so that you ensure that you're doing progressive overload. You need to get stronger in each session to ensure that you're actually building muscle. It means that your muscles are adapting to the stronger stimulus, which then makes it grow bigger. This can mean just adding like a 2.5 kilo or 5 pound plate each time, or for dumbbells, you can just pick the heavier dumbbells as well. Ensure that you're also getting adequate rest in between each set. This allows you to perform each set at your best as you have enough rest. Typically, I would rest about 3 to 4 minutes for compound movements and 1 to 2 minutes for isolation movements. You also want to ensure that you have 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night so that your muscles can recover adequately. You also have to pay attention to your nutrition. If you're trying to build muscle, ideally you will want to be at least in a small calorie surplus so that it is optimal for muscle growth. You also want to ensure that you're getting adequate amount of protein. I recommend about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You want to find out more on how you can eat to get and stay lean in a sustainable way that also fits your busy lifestyle. You can also check out my guide down below in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how you can actually build muscle with just 3 to 4 hours per week. I've done it when I was a student and also now as a full-time software engineer. So you don't need crazy long workouts. Ironically, it may even leave you feeling more burnt out, and it's also really hard to just manage your fatigue in general if you're doing these 5 to 6 days per week workout splits that are super long in the duration. I find that the 4-day upper lower split has the best in terms of bang to buck and also recovery, as well as just your overall performance in general. So catch you guys in the next video, and do subscribe and like the video if you enjoy these kinds of content.